time is now.
Hey. Hello, all you lovely Newcastle fans on NUFC Talk TV. Mighty wind flying solo here, so anything could happen. Don't have to put up, but the one good thing about flying solo is I don't have to put up with all the prophets of Armageddon, except what I'm going to see in the comments. But on the flip side, if anything goes wrong tech-wise, and trust me, press conferences with Newcastle United are notorious for there being tech issues. So whether I'll be able to solve those for us all, I don't know. Hello, Darren Lee. Hello, Trolls. Welcome to the chat. Let's get on with a bit of housekeeping. Hit the like button. That's the first thing. Smash the likes. Help the channel grow. Share to any Toon fan you know. And subscribe. We are 80 short now of the magic 8,000 subs. So can we hit that 80 extra subs today? And by the way, out of the 8,000 subs, less than 10% actually hit the bell button to be informed whenever we're coming on. And we come on quite a bit, as the regulars will all know. Mainly, it's usually a couple of times a day at least. So if you don't want to miss a single minute of any one of us, hit the bell, because that again really helps the channel. Join in with the chat. We've got a few in the chat already. Darren, Trolls, Sensible, Monica. No fallouts with the boss today. Indeed, not Sensible, Monica. No such thing as a fallout on this channel, said Chris. He's jumping in there from work. Freedom of speech remains. Yeah. Freedom and nonsense remains. Sorry, I've just been sick listening to Kim Jong Storm. No politics on the channel, sadly. No politics on the channel. Joining up with the chat, as you say, we'll get round to the chats at the end when we've heard what Eddie has to say, mainly. But if you want your super chat read out straight away, if there's something Eddie says maybe that's triggered you, send a super chat. And we will show you straight away, more or less, as soon as there's an opportune moment to do so. So where are we? Well, in terms of the Champions League, this has got to be one of the games that we target as a must-win. I think anything less than a win against our fellow Pot 4 members. Belgian champions, yes, but is the Belgian league all that? Let's be honest, they're playing in a stadium with a capacity of 9,400. How good can they be? Well, they're good enough to beat PSV away from home. And PSV are a habitual Champions League team from the Dutch league, so presumably no mugs. But again, PSV will be one of the teams that we are looking to beat. Chris is saying, remember, we have a player and Eddie Howe. That's right. Eddie Howe starts the conference, and then there'll be some sort of break, I would imagine, as there was the last time, and then a player will be put up to face the cameras as well. I'm not sure where this is actually coming from. I don't know whether they've got a hotel in the city or whether they're at a training ground of some description. But anyway, we're getting back into politics here, but it could be big news, which we don't really want to miss on, is has a Russian invasion started? All I can hear is fighter jets up and down. Wow. But that's away from Brussels. Although Brussels, of course, centre of centre of the EU as it is now. So we never know. Win a cool 2 million if we get 3 points on the board. Indeed, all of these Champions League points are very, very valuable, not just in terms of points, but in terms of shekels. And boy, do we need them to keep on the right side of PSR issues. We have got... No, I haven't. Hey, trolls. Oh, that's just trolls saying hello to everybody. Ian Fleming in the building. Thank you, Ian. Doing your grand job as usual in the background. Keeping everybody in order, hopefully. Hopefully you'll not need to. Hopefully you'll not need to today. Yeah, Champions League. Basically, what we know is that to guarantee being out of the league and into the group stage, you need normally 11 or 12 points. 11 points if you've got a really good goal difference, 12 if not. And even if you're not, you've still got a playoff chance of getting into the last 16. So to finish outside of at least one more game in the Champions League, you haven't got to finish in the bottom 6. Now, seriously, if you're going to finish in the bottom 6, then questions do seriously need to be asked, I feel. Because my target for Eddie for this season was Champions League again, top 6 at least, and last 16 minimum of the Champions League. I do harbour aspirations of getting further than the last 16. I think we could even probably go to the quarter-final, and given a fair wind and a reasonable draw, maybe it's even a bit further, because we'll have all of our guns firing by then, and we'll have the January window to replenish our forces. However, you must remember, if anybody's looking at the January window for anything other than Premier League points, you would assume that players you're going to be buying are of Champions League quality, and therefore they will have already played in the Champions League and be cup tied. So the idea of us going out and buying a really stellar signing in January is going to be somewhat limited by the fact that they will already have appeared in the Champions League and therefore be cup tied. Somebody's saying, Mason, Channel Teddy Bear, was your birthday yesterday? Happy birthday, Mason. Yes, we should get one in January or in the summer, transitioning trips into the coaching staff then. Makes perfect sense to me. Because I think we can retain his registration without. I don't think he'll be wanting a fortune. He'll realise that his time is kind of through. Old Father Time catches up with us all, does it not? Darren going to be 1 in, 1 out. Asula heading out if a striker is in, but sounds like we are targeting a midfield player as well. Hang on a minute now. Cliff Richardson is saying they are not cup tied for the Champions League. That rule was changed years ago. And J7, who celebrated Joelinton in the chat, who celebrated 10 months membership, thank you, Joelinton, this morning, says my birthday's on Thursday. Hopefully I get a happy birthday. Well, here's hoping you've got something to celebrate tomorrow night to take you rolling through into your birthday. Mason saying, I had a good birthday, thank you. Unfortunately, not out on the beer, as I'm back at work today. Well, you shouldn't be listening to this when you're at work, Mason. But we're glad that you are. NUFC Truth's got a question here for me. And we're still looking here. The event is still about to start. When, what if, are you talking about Newcastle can buy anyone? The Champions League has a registration 2 years ago. Is that similar to what Chris Richardson was saying? They're not cup tied. The rule was changed to allow them to play for two teams in the Champions League. Let me just check on that. Can January signings play for two teams in UCL? What are the rules on January signings? Teams remaining in the UEFA Champions League or any of the other competitions are allowed to register a maximum of 3 new eligible players after the completion of the league phase and before the start of the knockout phase. Additionally, clubs participating in domestic championships that start and end in the same calendar year are entitled to additional player registrations in certain cases. Since 2018-19, it no longer matters whether those players have already played in the competition. Oh, well, there you go. Good news. Good news. So they're not going to be cup tied. So the mighty win is corrected yet again. Love being corrected. Any day that you don't learn something is a wasted day. So thank you, whoever it was. Darren Lee's there. I think who was first in NUFC Truth. And Cliff Richardson, thank you for putting me right on that. Because it had me slightly worried about the calibre of player we might be going for. But that obviously goes out the window now, which is all good stuff. And according to me now, we're 3 minutes away from Eddie entering the building. However, doesn't appear to be happening. Let's have a quick refresh here. Out to start. Because it's got it, right, okay. So, I don't know if any of you saw the show this morning. Well, I know some of you did that are in the chat when we discussed it. You know, to be fair, we don't know a lot about USG. You know, record signing 3.5 million by all accounts. And they sold their top scorer last season to Benfica for 4 million. So, what's going on here? No, still nothing. I literally just don't want to. You'll have to forgive me because I'm no good spinning different plates. I'm getting too old for that. But we're going to just rattle on anyway. Let's see if we can win tomorrow in the land of chocolate. I do like a Belgian chocolate, I must admit. I've got a very sweet tooth. What's NUFC Truth read? When Newcastle scouts need to be looking for wingers in this competition, because you know ours are bad at getting goals and Champions League standards are higher than the Prem. Look at Rooney at Barca. What can I be talking about? Look at Rooney. He went Barca. Not sure what you mean there, NUFC Truth. Agree. Burnett left back is a no-no. I am an Arsenal fan and was shocked by that selection on Sunday. Well, he didn't do much about targeting him. That's all I can say. But we're not getting into all that again. Arsenal's done and dusted. It's water under the bridge. Lesson learned. So we pick up the cudgel and start again. It's going to take time, as I say, for to adapt to a new way of playing without Isaac after 3 years of developing most of the systems to feed him. Gig needs to get sorted. GDG. Remember we got Champions League due to Villa messing up on the last day. No, we didn't. We got Champions League through 38 results. 38 results got us Champions League. Not Aston Villa messing up. It was their other 37 that cost them. So forget about the last day of the season. It is totally, well, it's not irrelevant because it's part of the 38 games, but that's all it is. Lesson learned should have been lesson learned 2 years ago, man. He never learns. Oh, hey, man, get back to work. I said at the start of the show, it's going to be great not having to sit next to an Armageddon merchant. So, Rooney Bargy was in Norway. Amazing winger, 19, had a ACL. Barcelona played £2 million for him. Amazing player. Ripped man eye apart. Money apart. I don't know. Anybody can point to the successes that happen when you go for play. Look at us with Bruno and Botman. Hardly household names at the time. Isaac the same, not a household name. We've had remarkable success buying players. Dan Burn, 12 million. He's been a fantastic servant for us. But how many haven't come off? Look at, Villa. I really, really wanted Diaby. Boy, am I pleased we didn't get him. For every one success story, there's dozens of didn't make it stories. Tangy Vivid saying, I think we need to figure out a way of making Baltimore number 10. I agree. When Wissa returns, this is possible. If we buy another striker for when Wissa is away, it would be good. Yep, makes perfect sense, huh? But yet again, we've gone out to strengthen the squad. We've strengthened it, in my opinion, quite acceptably. But too late, and then, as is our wont, the gods are totally against us, and 2 of our major signings unable to play. So we've seen the results of that happening. When you know why top sides don't overpay for player, it's not their name or their club, it's standards, and Newcastle have to stop overpaying and build a team, not rely on a striker again and again. Make of that what you will. Trulls J7, you having a birthday soon. Yeah, she said Thursday. Now's the time for Chow and Botman to be first choice. Well, you tell me what Burns done wrong that should be the case. And Trulls is saying, on the other hand, Diaby would probably have been great under Howe. NUFC, yeah, scouting is hugely important in today's game, so Newcastle need to find diamonds in the rough and develop them. No, here's the thing, you see. That finding diamonds in the rough and developing them was the club that we were. But if you want to join the elite, They don't go and find diamonds in the rough. They buy the finished, proven article. And the only way we'll catch them up is by us buying the finished articles as well, which PSR is patently preventing us doing, and certainly not then selling the diamonds that we've polished to the very people that we're competing against, which is why I kind of didn't have an issue with PIF digging their heels in and trying more or less to force Isaac to stay against his will, because I think they could see that as well. They could see that if this is where we are, how the hell are we going to get to the next level? Now, selling Isaac would have been great if we'd got, say the extra 30 million, which then enables you to buy one top quality one, which is effectively what Waldemar and Wissa cost us. So you're getting two for the price of one. Then you've only got to hope that one of them comes off, and we'll pretty much know that Wissa's going to come off because he's done it season after season in a worse side I would put forward than we are. So there's no reason why he shouldn't do it in our side. Unless maybe Thomas Frank developed a system at Brentford to completely utilise Mbeumo and Wissa. And, God, I hope it doesn't happen, but maybe Wissa coming here with a different sort of service, similar to what's happening to Isaac at Liverpool. And he's not firing on all cylinders yet. These things take time, and people, we're 6 games into the season, for God's sake. It's why send the flares up already? Doesn't make any sense to me. What's Neil saying? Ramsey wasn't a first choice, Wissa was, but that's only one. Well, Wissa wasn't. First choice was Pedro. Second choice was Etiquette. Third choice, well, actually, first choice was Mbeumo. Second choice was Pedro. Third choice was Ekitike. Fourth choice was Sesko. And fifth and sixth choices, if you like, were Voltemada and Wissa. Because the big boys came in and slapped our wrists and paid more money. Which is just, it's where we are. It's where we are. Arsenal played so much better against us because they played Eze in that number 10 role. Agreed, Niall says RF. Botman and Chow need to be first choice. Newcastle need to build that team for the future now. Then you tell me, Win, what has Chow and Botman done to be dropped? Well, Byrne wasn't dropped. Byrne was rested. So, no reason why he shouldn't come back. When we buy pace merchants, not technical wide men, look at every top winger in the world. They can score, break defences, and a winger won the Ballon d'Or. Obviously, that means Dembele was a flop at Dortmund, failed at Barca. Yeah, he had a remarkable season, no doubt about that. Chow and Botman have taken their chance. And they haven't outperformed Byrne at all. That's nonsense. They have not outperformed Byrne. Byrne and Shea kept 4 clean sheets. Chow and Botman haven't kept one. Liar. Barcelona bought Rooney for 2 million. Pedri, Cabrini, half their squad is upcoming and their youth name me a player Barca paid more for than we did for Volta. It's not scouting, it's money. Barca are slightly different insofar that they have the name and the cachet to attract players that we sadly haven't, whether people like it or not. We are not in that bracket yet, but we'll get there. Yes, win, but slightly disagree. You buy top players at these elite clubs, still scout and find amazing young talent that no one else. Look, Real Madrid, again, they've got the cash here. They can attract who they want in terms of youth. And, you know, if Newcastle United and Real Madrid are going in for the same youth player, there's only going to be one winner at the end of the day, and that's Real Madrid. And similarly now, Man City, because in the digital age, Man City are the Man United of the pre-digital age, because everybody all around the world, since football became available 24/7, everybody knows Man City and Chelsea now more than they know Arsenal and Man United of the pre-digital age, which is why the drop-off has been so phenomenal. Because even Man United now, they've still got the clout above us, but certainly not in the same league as Man City now. Steve is saying, when you have to take your criticism for our start because you want to judge the club at the end of the window. We were left short at the start of the season. I said August the 1st, we should have been, etc., etc. Well, listen, what I'm saying is, I said I'll judge the window on the 1st of September. And on the 1st of September, I was quite happy with what we'd done. If you look at the improvements in the squad, Ramsdale for Dubravka, Voltemada and Wissa for Isaac and Wilson, Ramsey for Longstaff, and Elanga for Almiron. That, to me, every one of those is an improvement. Now then, did we get them in time? No. So in that respect, the window was a disaster, and I've never said anything else. First, it had been resolved. Unfortunately, by September the 1st, we'd played 3 games and arguably lost 7 points because we didn't have a striker. So that's what I've got to say to that, RF. When you have to take... Oh, that's the same one, sorry. But slightly... Oh, yeah, I've done that one. Tom Mack is saying... It isn't one or the other. It's but I agree with that as well, Tom Mack. It isn't one or the other. It's a balance of buying emerging talent and some finished articles. Can't afford to be spending like some other clubs which have better commercial revenues. Spot on. Niall, be careful, you'll find yourself having wind's wrath on you. And you don't want that. We are waiting for the club now, so we shall wait. Nae bother, man. Yeah, because we should have started, again, according to the club, it was due to start at 3 o'clock, and with Borky Burner's been great for it, but we need to absolutely look to the future. But that's the future, not the present. Tangy Vivid, I'm an Arsenal fan. We did play so much better with Ezzy in the 10 and using all our creative midfield players and not just 3 DMs, like Arteta did against Liverpool. All lies, well, I don't know what the lies. Stop, all lies, stop lying. When I mean first choice for the team. Yeah, I agree. That's precisely what we need to do. Improve the first team. I've said that all along. You know, if you improve the first team, you automatically drop a player who's in the first team onto the bench. And as far as I'm concerned, our starting 11 is good enough to be up there challenging. But sadly, to buy a player, if you were trying, for example, if you're trying to replace Tenor, how much are you going to have to pay? Well, we know how much you're going to have to pay because Liverpool did it. 117 million for words to buy a player of Tonali's standard, who yet again you could argue was a diamond in the rough that we polished, but he was already a diamond. You know, we got him for 50, I don't care what anybody says, we got him for 55 million or whatever it was we paid for him, because AC Milan knew that 12-month ban was coming round the corner. That's how we were able to pick him up on the cheap. Now, if you ask me, strangely, if I had known that, if we had known that ban was coming round the corner, would we have paid 55 million for Tonali? I would have said, not a chance. We needed to buy players then to take us first-team players, and we did arguably, we bought Tonali and Barnes. Tonali got banned and Barnes got injured, which just totally put the brakes on that season. And then we had all the horrific injuries that we had with all the extra games. If we'd had Tonali and Barnes in that 22-23 squad for our last Champions League season, we would have been fine. But to buy players to replace Bruno, Tonali, even we've got everybody played holy hell when we allegedly wasted 28 and 45 million on two fullbacks when we didn't need them. Bearing in mind that at the time Dan Burn had played a whole season at left back with Target as his understudy, and he was the best defence in the league, as I will never tire of telling people. So everybody was saying it's J7 joining Eddie Howe in the presser today, I'm just being told. Everybody was saying when we bought Hall and Livramento, what a waste of money when we needed players in other positions. Well, how bad a waste of money is that turning out to be now? It's looking like fantastic business. Two England internationals bought for coppers. Thanks to Eddie's wonderful coaching. I might just add. Cecily Bryce, Ross Sykes of USG is a defender in the team. He's an NUFC lifelong fan and went mental when he heard the draw on YouTube. Well, there you go. Thank you for that, Cecily Bryce, whose name I haven't seen before, but welcome along. Smash the likes, hit the share. How many likes have we got, by the way? Let me have a look here. We've got 250 in the chat, 250 watching, and how many likes have we got? We've only got 40 likes, man. Come on, folks. Smash the likes, man. Help the channel out. 230 watching and only 40 likes. Do me a favour. Throws Wayne lying out his horse. Top sides saying a lot of youth. Camavinga and you're talking about bloody Real Madrid again. You know what I mean. Get used to the fact that we aren't Real Madrid, we're not Barcelona, we're not Man City, and we're not Chelsea. Liverpool or Man U. Get used to it. Take a reality pill. Chris, get on. Why? Chris is at work. He's moonlighting behind his computer pretending he's working. So they took their chance and 5 doesn't work, so Byrne has to stay on the bench. No, Byrne just goes back in 1 or 2 and Botman doesn't play. Indeed they do, but to be fair, they also have a lot of ready-made players that we don't. Yeah, because they've all got academies that make ours look like a stable. Unbelievable the things this guy says, man. No context, just blind, stupid stats. Yeah. I agree 100%. Do not want to lose Botman because Howe wants Burn to play. Chris is like Eddie, not flexible. I'm at work, sadly, says Chris. Oi, Grandad. You okay, lads and lasses? Yeah, very well, Michael, putting up with this abuse as usual. But we can handle it. We've got big, broad shoulders. Win, get your facts straight. Wilson was Eddie Howe first choice. The delay waiting for Wilson to accept new offer stopped us signing players at the start. Nonsense. The fact that he wanted to sign, that he was happy to give Wilson a pay-as-you-play contract didn't alter the fact that he was still looking for another signing. No, it didn't. When we got Cordero over Batka and Real Madrid, or Barca, presumably. We got Cordero over Barca. Yeah, presumably because he thought, I'm not really it. I'm not going to make it there. I've got more chance of making it at Newcastle, where we promptly sent him on loan. And anyway, that's all speculation that he turned down Real Madrid to come here. He's right, though. Genuinely think people on here are hating on Byrne just because Wynne rates him and they want to take the piss sometimes. No one can deny that Byrne has been great. No one can deny. Anyone looking at the games objectively can it. Like I say, I've watched that Arsenal game now 3 times in full, and the second game specifically because of the shite that I was hearing about Dan Byrne. I thought, well, maybe I am looking at it through rose-coloured glasses. He had 29. He was involved in the game 29 times, and on 24 of those occasions, 24 out of 29, I'll defy anybody to tell me that he could have done any better in the circumstances that he found himself. Every one of those individual instances, I'll say he's did that because, and you try and tell me different, and I guarantee you won't. The 5 because I was being super critical, the 5 instances where I thought he could have done better, including, of course, the winning goal. But again, it wasn't entirely down to him. I did count that as an error. So that's one of the 5 errors that he made, like unforced errors, for want of a better expression. And that was one of them. But other than that, he was fantastic. And then the next time I looked at it, because of the stick J7 had been getting, I also went through all the things that he'd done. I wasn't as meticulous, so I can't actually tell you. But again, every time I'm looking, I'm saying, well, he couldn't have done much better there. Couldn't have done much better. He got lucky in the first minute. He could certainly have, if I had a good look at it, I suppose they could have found a way of sending them off if they'd wanted to. But anyway, RF is saying, so Burns only has one season on his age, you need to plan for here and now as well as showing up the future. We're born. Chow, your fullbacks too. I'm not saying that Botman and Chow shouldn't be utilised more, but we've got lots and lots of games. Dan Burn is not getting any younger, so he can't start to. But bear in mind, this is World Cup, yeah. Dan Burn is currently in the England squad. He wants to get his place in that England World Cup team. So he's entitled to want to play every game. And if he's not playing badly, if he's playing well, why shouldn't he? He's earned it. His tenure while he's been at Newcastle has been fantastic. So why is he not entitled, as long as he's playing well? If he starts playing badly, I'll be the first to say it. Get rid of him. But as long as he's playing well, why is he not entitled to try and get in that World Cup squad and finish his career with a World Cup? There's 2 sides to every coin. And one thing about Eddie is he's a great man-manager. So, there you go. This is like putting a kid in charge of the sweet shop. He gets to do all his happy clapping without it. Hey, there's plenty of people challenging this bogey. I thought I was going to have a relatively happy and content afternoon. And I'm just getting bombarded in the chat. Stoked along, of course, by the wanker in chief. Barnes, Gordon, Murphy, not good enough. I'll definitely go along with Barnes on what he's done so far. Win pay him, we pay him more than any. Oh, hello. Hello. Where we are. There we go. We'll go anyway. This season, Wynn says, calm down, it's only 6 games. But this time last season, Wynn said the 6th game was even with a much win for our title challenge. A lot of flip-flopping going on here. Right, because last season, I seriously thought we could challenge for the title. I don't think we can this season. So that 6th game was must win then if we seriously wanted to be in the hunt for the title. Because, again, at that stage last season, as I recall, Liverpool were running away with it again. You know, the chances of us getting 9 points back now on Liverpool when we've already played them once is it's going to show just how big a game that was in real terms. But no, I don't think we're challenging for the title today. I forecast us to finish second last season, and as a result, that 6th game was critical. But again, we ended up last season going 5-5-5, 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 defeats, and we're 12th in the league. And everybody's, oh my God, we're knackered, we're gonna be in the relegation battle. Give a woman, get yourselves a life. These top sides win because their managers have a plan, a system, and buy around it. Howe's gone shotgun transfer window and not bought for his tactics. We'll be badly off without him, I know that. 7 points down by the end of the window, and the point is we should be ready for the season opener. Yeah, well, we should have been, we weren't. And that's not down to how, that's down to PIF. Well, this is a live feed apparently coming from this studio, but sadly ain't no people in it. And it's now 3:30, and it was scheduled for 3:00. Apparently, we are awaiting Eddie. That figures. Relax, we're on their time. Well, if we're on their time, they are an hour in front of us. So that means it'll not be starting till 4:00. Oh, here we go.
problem. Lee, okay?
You're right, Lee.
George. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. First, we'll have Eddie Howe. We'll have Joelinton with you in around 15 minutes' time. If you have a question, please get my attention, and we'll come to you in order. Who wants to start us off? Dominic?
How was the journey here, and how's your squad shaping up ahead of tomorrow night?
Yeah, journey was good. It was a very quick flight for us. We'll train this afternoon, just after this press conference. And the squad is in a pretty good place. Yeah, we're minus Tino Livramento. We're still awaiting feedback on the extent of his injury. But I think apart from that, we're okay.
Thank you. We'll go to Jordan next year, and then to Lee just behind you. Jordan.
Is there any early indication on Tino's injuries at a long-term, medium-term, short-term?
No, I think I'm better off waiting before sort of giving any indication on that, because I think that could be a mistake. So yeah, let's wait and see in the next couple of days, I think.
You rested Nick Baltimore for the first Champions League game against Barcelona, a fortnight on. Is he able physically now to play 2 games in 4 days?
We'll make a decision after training today on how all the players look physically. Arsenal was another really physical game for us, tough game, mentally of course, but physically it was a big output game for us. So we'll try and make the right decisions in terms of team selection to make sure everyone's fresh.
Okay, we'll go to Lee Ryder just behind. Thank you.
Eddie, I know you'll take it with a pinch of salt, the comments from Bayern Munich about Nick, but are you surprised the club of that stature just seem to be queuing up to make comments about his price tag?
I always think with these types of things, it's irrelevant really. The market forces dictate transfer fees, not necessarily any one club. We're very pleased to have Nick with us. I think he started very strongly in what's been a difficult period for him because he's thrust straight into action. No training time with us really of any note, and I think he's done really, really well. So we're really pleased to have him with us, and the transfer fee for me is absolutely irrelevant.
And he's also got off to a really good start as well with 2 goals, the 2 headers.
Yeah, great to see him score with his head. I mean, he is, you know, as I said when we signed him, we know he's a big player, and that has to be a source of goals for him with the height that he brings. And it's something that we felt we could really improve. But the 2 headers are all his own work, and he deserves the praise for them because they're 2, you know, outstanding moments. And it shows that hopefully once the team services him and gives him, you know, better balls in and around the box, there's other ways he can score as well, but that's certainly a promising start.
Thank you. Go to Matthew Raisbeck and then to George Colkin. Matthew.
Hi Eddie. What are the benefits to training here on the pitch ahead of tomorrow's game? Because 2 seasons ago you didn't do that for a couple of your Champions League group matches.
Yeah, I think it all depends on lots of different things, like the journey time, how we feel about the certain training sessions, how much we want to sort of give away on our preparation. We felt coming here that getting to know our surroundings was more important. So I think it will be an important training session for us today with the pitch and the stadium. And travel time has been minimal, so we've got here early, we'll be settled, and hopefully that will help our performance.
And what do you know about Union Saint-Gilloise, who are new to the Champions League, but won their first match and are having a really good season domestically too?
Yeah, well, I know exactly that. They've started the season very, very strongly, and a great result in the Champions League, as you say, against PSV. They're tactically interesting. They'll give us a physical threat as well. They're 2 big strikers. Yeah, I've been very impressed by watching them play. We know it'll be a really important game in our Champions League journey, but it's going to be a tough one.
Thank you. I'll go to George and then to Greg in the front, please.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
Is this beginning to feel like your level now?
Well, we certainly feel in our first game, if you're looking back at the Barcelona game, we felt we gave a really good performance, but ended up with nothing, and you know, disappointing result. And there's similarities between that and the sort of the Premier League start for us, where we feel we've been really competitive and have left certain games with less than I feel we've deserved. So I feel we're competitive. We're enjoying, I think, the build-up now. We're used to it from 2 years ago. There's nothing that really is going to hopefully surprise us in that sense. And I think that can only help us then hopefully perform at a better level.
Thank you. Craig at the front.
Hi Eddie, it's one of the nicer problems you've got at the moment, but Sven Botman and Dan Burn both being fit and both being in good form, but they also want to play in the same position. How do you accommodate that? Do you, as you did on Sunday, do you put Dan at left back? Can you play the two of them together, even though that puts Sven to the right? Can you play three, or does it come to the point where you've actually just for the big game got to pick one of them? Just talk us through that dilemma you've got with two good players.
I can do all of those things that you mentioned, Craig. You've summed it up. I don't have to answer that.
Pick one.
Well, I will have to, won't I? And you'll see that tomorrow. But I think it's a great problem to have in a sense that you've got two outstanding players that bring different qualities, but both perform and have performed very strongly. I just think, talking about both players, it's great to see Sven back with the form that we know he's capable of. And he's such a big player in terms of ball distribution and helping us elevate our game to another level. I think when he's in his best moment, he was fundamentally important to our rise 2 years ago. And Dan's just been, in every sense, a giant for us. And his leadership skills are invaluable to us. So Dan's played left back for us a lot, and even in a lot of games this year, although we haven't started him in that position, he's ended up playing there because of how we've pressed or how we've tactically built our game. So I'm comfortable with all of those options, and no doubt I'll use all of them through the season.
We've spent the last 2 years talking about the midfield. As you well know, it seems this year's discussion point is perhaps going to be the wingers and their contribution as well. Where do you think the four of them are at in terms of their own form and how they're gelling with Nick, or not gelling with Nick? Just talk to us about the wingers, because there is a lot of debate around those four at the moment and their form.
Yeah, I think you'd have to go down to each individual player to give a full description, and obviously I'm not going to do that. I think it's been a bit stop-start for all of them. I don't think there's been much fluency for any of the four. So I think that will be the challenge for them to bring their best performances. They're so important because they all bring something slightly different. They've all got unique qualities, but they're all going to play a massive part throughout the season. We need them firing. We need them firing in terms of goal scoring, goal creating. And ultimately, if you play with wingers, as we have done historically, if they're not performing, they hurt the system. So that's something that we really need to focus on.
Thanks, Craig. Go to Scott Wilson and then to Mark Douglas in the middle. Scott.
Is Fabian available, Eddie?
Yeah, he's back in the squad.
He's back in here in our here. And we talked at the weekend about the start and how in a lot of games you probably haven't really quite got what you deserve, and it's felt a bit up and down because of that. I mean, maybe an obvious thing to say, but is tomorrow night a game when really the result is, yes, get a performance, but are we getting towards the stage where winning a game is going to be important?
Yeah, winning is the be all and end all, and it's never been lost to me as manager. You can play as well as you want, but you have to try and win, and you have to try and find a way to win in all types of performance, and we've done that well for the last few years. And I think in terms of our Champions League campaign, it is important that we do that very, very quickly. Otherwise, we're going to leave ourselves too far to come. And it'll be the same in the Premier League. So I think the players know that. They're not inexperienced. They've got a really experienced group that have been through a lot together. And we know that the ultimate thing that we're judged on is how many points we get.
Thanks, Scott. Mark Douglas then to Damien Spellman. Next to you.
Eddie, last time in the Champions League, you came very close to winning an away game, but it was obviously didn't quite manage it. Is it the kind of next level to win an away game in a Champions League? Does it demand a little bit more of you as a team than it maybe in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think that winning away is as much psychological as anything else, and I think there is a step to go in any competition to do that, and I think that is what really elevates you, because then when you return home, you feel lifted from that. Away performances and results are so important to your psychology. It's not lost on us. We know that our away form, it's a strange one, because actually we've been very competitive away this year in the Premier League. without the sort of the X factor that we've had historically, where you sort of feel a goal's coming or a moment's coming at any second. I haven't felt that when I've watched us, but we've been really, really resilient and defensively so strong. So I back us with the players that we have that those moments will come back. A lot of that is confidence linked, I think, but we need to start making that happen. We can't think it's going to happen. The whole group has to have that galvanising effect on each other.
Can I just ask quickly about Nick Pope as well? He received a little bit of criticism for the quick kick and obviously the corner, but he was outstanding on Sunday. Is he okay? And you kind of had a chance to speak to him.
The life of a goalkeeper, eh? I mean, it's incredible because that'll be one of the best performances from a goalkeeper I've seen up until that point, really. And of course, everyone will critique certain moments and certain decisions. I think we have to reflect that his actions in that moment are trying to help us win the game. And of course, things happen in football that then you look back on and think, well, maybe I'd have made a different decision. But same as when you're in my shoes, you don't play with hindsight, you play with your decision making in that moment with the information that you have. And I back Nick. I thought he was magnificent on Sunday.
Thank you. Damien?
Hi, Eddie. You had 3 very difficult away games in this competition 2 years ago. How have they prepared you for tomorrow night, and how does tomorrow's challenge compare?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The away games that we experienced, I think, made us a better team to go back to the Premier League with. Milan, Dortmund and Paris. I mean, you don't get much harder in European competition, but I think in all of those games we were really competitive again. And I think we took that back into our domestic form and grew from it, even though they weren't wins. I think now we're judged slightly differently. I think the expectation's slightly different, and I think this will be a good challenge for us at a time in the season where we know we need to perform.
Just relating to Scott's question, you have had some disappointing results this season, but to give it context, Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, 2 of them in stoppage time. Does that give it context?
Yeah, I can say it gives context, but I know you guys won't. There's 2 ways of looking at it. You might sort of agree to that, but then ultimately we've lost the games and lost games that we don't plan to lose or expect to lose ourselves. So our expectations of ourselves are higher than that. And I think we have to push the group for more, and our expectations of ourselves have to be of the highest form. Otherwise we will never grow and we'll never step forward. So we will pinpoint stuff we can do better. We will expect us to deliver better. And I think that's a healthy expectation to put on the team.
Okay. Damien, just to your right, please, to Kieran.
Good afternoon. Obviously, the manner of the defeat to Arsenal could be a danger of a hangover. Have you sensed the players are kind of desperate to get going again?
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that in a sense of a hangover. I think for me it should be a motivator. It should be if you could replay those moments again, we would have to do better as a group and respond better to the threat that we faced in those final few minutes. The game hinged on, as it always does, on big moments, and there's other sort of moments happen in the game that I could say, well, we were slightly unlucky with this or that. But ultimately, we needed to do better in those last few minutes. And that, in the end, would have probably been a very good point to take forward into this game. But it didn't happen. And, yeah, as I say, we have to use that as motivation now to go again, regroup, and come back stronger.
We've seen players historically maybe get weighed down by their price tag. Doesn't seem to have affected Voltemade.
No, I don't think he's that kind of character. I don't think he necessarily overthinks things too much, which is a really big strength. I think look, whatever we've paid for him is irrelevant. It's going to be what he's going to be judged on is how he performs in the team and what he gives to the club going forward. So I would urge any footballer to try and dust that off, but it's easier said than done, because I've seen players myself be weighed down by either the fee or the expectation. But he's very relaxed. It looks like he's enjoying his football, enjoying being here, and ultimately that's key.
Thank you. Finish with the 2 gents on the front row.
Good afternoon. Union name-wise isn't the biggest team in the Champions League. Possible, a lot of teams have underestimated them. How will you avoid that happening to your side as well?
Yeah, we certainly don't underestimate anybody, and I think that comes down to fundamentally our reviewing of our opponents, which I'll do personally, as I always do. And it's a case of judging strengths and weaknesses and then figuring out a way to try and be competitive in the game and ultimately win. But I think for any team to be at this level and to be top of their league and playing in the way that they are, demand respect. Full credit to everyone connected with the club, because it's been a dramatic rise and sustained success. It's not been just one season. You know, they were knocking on the door to win the league, then they've won the league, and now deservedly in the Champions League. So, no, we'll be fully focused and fully ready.
Thank you. Martin, to finish.
Hi, Eddie. Are Newcastle United a Champions League club now? And if so, what's the next step?
Well, we're a Champions League club for this season. Whether that goes into next year, time will tell. I think we will enjoy this experience. We will try to evolve and improve. But ultimately, we want to, and I said this right at the start, want to progress into the next stage of the competition. So we're not necessarily looking at, are we a Champions League club? You know, going into the future, it's about trying to make the most of this moment right in front of us.
And is it your first time at this ground? And is there a different element that it's not Union's home ground?
Yeah, it's my first time here. Yeah, but obviously we've had time to prepare and think about that. But ultimately, it will still be a very home-based crowd, and I'm sure they'll be very supportive to them. So I don't see a lot really that changes from a normal away game for us. We'll have our following with us, and I'm sure they'll be amazing as they always are. And I think it's up to us to get them involved in the game.
And last one, you touched upon it there. How impressed have you been with what they've done here at this football club?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, sustained success is very difficult in any league. Obviously very well run and well managed. The recruitment's been very good. You have to get all those things right for the dramatic rise that they've had. Yeah, and full credit to everyone here.
Thanks, everyone. That concludes this part of the press conference. We'll be joined by Joelinton very shortly. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Nice to see you all. Thank you.
And I'm muted. I am unmuted now. So, as I say, so the first thing Eddie was asked was about Tino. He says he's awaiting feedback. He wants to give it a couple of days so they can have it really properly investigated before he'll make a statement on his availability. As regards whether Wolfie will play or not, on the basis that he didn't play against Barcelona because he was tired, and will he play today? He's tired. Basically, Eddie said he'll make a decision after the training session. Oh, hang on. We have J7 in the back.
In Portuguese, I mean. Huh? It translates from Portuguese to English.
French. In French to English.
French to English. Okay, it's the same.
Who would like to start, please?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, Jordan. Thank you. How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow's game?
I feel good. I feel good. The team is good. Everyone positive. Sunday was difficult, but we move on, and tomorrow we have another opportunity to win the game.
How big is tomorrow's game, given you lost the first game? This is the first game to finally kickstart your Champions League campaign?
It's a massive one. I think with a lot of games, but we don't have time to lose and more. We have to start to win, and tomorrow, like I said, we have another opportunity to do it, and I hope we can do, and with a good performance.
Mark, how are the players after Sunday? It was such a disappointing, inflated defeat when you put so much into it.
Yes, it's a point. Sad. but it's part of football. This season, so many games, we can celebrate so much after a game, and also we cannot be disappointed for so long. Tomorrow is another game, another opportunity, and we are positive and hope we can bounce back and get the win.
Can I ask you about Nick Voltemada as well? Like Bayern Munich CEO said that Newcastle are fools for paying so much money for him. You've seen him train, you've seen what a good player he is. What do you make of somebody saying that about him?
I didn't see, so I don't know what he said, and everyone has our opinion. We are very happy to have Nick here. He's a great player, a great talent, and I hope he can keep scoring and doing well for us.
Okay, we'll go George there and then Lee, please.
Hi. What have Newcastle learnt from the Champions League experience of 2 years ago, and how much better do you think you will be? How much more equipped do you think you'll be to take it on?
I think we always learn in every game, every competition we play, every experience we have. We always try to learn something. In defeats, in wins. I think the team has evolved for 2 years ago. I think we are a better team now. This season's not start the way we want, but we know the quality we have in our team. We have the confidence and we have experienced players to turn it on, and I hope we can start tomorrow.
Thank you. Got Lee there, please.
Hi, Joelinton. When you signed for the club, very different time. Newcastle were like fighting against relegation for a while under Steve Bruce. The nights like tomorrow night, does it feel a bit like a dream, that the rise that you've gone through as a club?
Yes, stuck with Ryan. Just I remember asking if it was my last press conference was with Steve Bruce when I arrived here. But it's nice to see the way the club is going. The difficult times, the club is growing. Yes, and I'm really happy to be part of the club, part of the success we had in the past few seasons. And I want more, the club want more, and I think we are in the right way.
And when Nick scored his first goal against Wolves, I seen you pushed him in front of the fans to enjoy that moment. Was that a sort of sign of your appreciation, just how tough it can be when you're looking for that first goal?
Yes, and just to think he's a good lad. Come with a lot of expectation, we know. But like I said before, we are happy with him. He's a great talent. I'm here to help him like the other players. I'm here for a long time, and just give him this appreciation from the fans that are everywhere we go. The fans are with us, and for him to have this love and to feel home, to feel comfortable as quick as possible in the team and in the city.
Thank you. We'll go Craig and then Martin, please.
Hi, Joe. You've been in Nick's situation as a centre forward with a big price tag, a lot of expectation. Have you spoken to him about that personally? Because if it doesn't work out, he can always go back into midfield, can't he?
No, he didn't talk about it. I think he knows the expectation, but he has his own expectations. He's a German player, young player, but with a lot of experience already. Play for a big country, and he's a good player. The fee is not us. It's not from us. It's the team. We can do nothing about it. And but I know he's fine. He's just enjoying his football. And I wish him all the best. I hope he can score a lot of goals for us.
Your position now as a club legend is assured, given what you've done in the last few seasons. But take us back to when you were a striker with that expectation, what Nick is feeling now. What is that like when you're the man through the middle who's got to score the goals?
I think we always have pressure. I have pressure to play in the middle, to deliver good performance, to help the team. Today I'm not the number 9 anymore, but I still have the pressure to score goals, to try to create for my teammates, and the pressure is in everybody in the team. I think the team has to play well, try to create as many chances as we can to give Nick the best opportunity to score the goals. So the responsibility is on everyone. And yeah, like I say, we are positive, and I hope we can create chance for him to score. I hope I can score as well.
Martin, next one, please.
Where and when did you first watch the Champions League?
Where?
Where and when?
At home, sure, in Brazil. I can remember and it was
When you were little?
a young child. Yeah.
And did you dream of playing in the competition? Was that what it was like watching it in Brazil at the time?
Don't know if I dreamed to play in the competition, but my dream was always to be a footballer. The minute you grow up, you have other dreams. First, I reached my biggest dream was to be a footballer, and after that, I want to be in Europe. I want to play the best competitions, and the Champions League are the best. And I'm really happy to be here today, to be able to play the competition, and yes, very happy.
And how important is it for you and the club to get through to that knockout stage?
It's very important. I think we have big goals every season. This season, again, we have big goals, and we want to go as far as possible, and fingers crossed we can do that.
Thank you. We've got Scott on the second row there, please, and Kieran and Dom to wrap up, please.
Hi, Joelinton. When you think about when you first came to Newcastle, are you surprised now by just how much the club and the city has come to mean to you? Because footballers go through their careers, they play for lots of different clubs, they play in lots of different countries, and yet something seems to have got to you about Newcastle.
No, I'm not surprised. When I joined the club, I want to have success. In the start, things didn't go in the way I want, but this club has a great fan base, a great city, and these fans deserve a lot. The moment they are living now, and we as a team, we want to give success to Newcastle and put our names in the history of the club.
To Kieran, just on the row behind there, please.
Hi, Joe. How is Nick different compared to the strikers you played with at Newcastle before?
I think everyone is different. Every player has their own style of play. Nick is a great lad, young lad that want to succeed in life, want to succeed here at Newcastle, and we are very happy to have him here.
And you've mentioned kind of the changes in the club and, since the relegation battle. I mean, are you very confident about the direction the club is in? Do you feel that ambition still to keep growing?
Yes, I think the club is going the right way. Still a long way to go, but we are working on that. We are trying our best every game, every season to make the team grow, make the club bigger, and we're going to achieve it when we win more titles.
Dom to wrap up, please.
Just to follow on from that, last year you signed a new long-term contract. Earlier in this press conference you spoke about wanting to stay at Newcastle for a long time. What is it about the club that makes you want to be here and want to stay here?
I just love the club, I love the fans, love the city. Really happy to live in Newcastle. My family is happy. I feel the connection with the fans. And I'm just enjoying my football, to play in front of the Geordies, and hope we can stay together for more few years.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And there we have J7. I loved it when he came on, just snapping his nuggets. That's my man. Okay, we'll quickly get back to Eddie. The questions that J7 were asked were all very nicey, asking him, just basically throwing buns for him to praise the city and the fans and everything else. Nicey, no hard questions for him there. However, getting back to Eddie, asked about Wolfie starting, and he said he'll make the decision after training. But as a few have said in the chat, if Wolfie doesn't start tomorrow, even I'll be starting to have some questions. He was asked about the buying comments that would paid too much for Voltemada, and he said basically it's irrelevant. He's very happy with him. Bearing in mind he's had virtually no training sessions for to integrate with the lads. But it's the fee to Eddie is irrelevant. They paid what they needed to pay. They're very happy that he's scored 2 headers, which he was, despite being 2-meter Peter, he wasn't renowned. 36 Bundesliga goals, only 4 with his head. So that's definitely not wasn't his forte. Whether we can make it his forte remains to be seen. He was asked whether he considered that the Champions League was our level now. And he said, well, we're definitely competitive, as we proved against Barcelona. And we're used to it now. It's not the big new shiny bauble that it was. We've got that experience in our locker now, which should help us going forward. And then good old Craig Howe, always there with the tough ones, Botman and Byrne. And he proceeded to outline the options that Eddie had available, bearing in mind that they were both playing really well and, what his options were. So Eddie very succinctly turned that on him and said, well, there you are, you've told us what my options are. He says, so, yeah. He says, I've got to decide, and you'll find out tomorrow how I've decided for this particular game. But he was keen to point out that Dan had been a giant in all aspects of the word, and how much influence he has on the pitch and in the dressing room. Then he was asked again about Craig, always asking the proper questions about the wingers, which has been a lot of the chat's been involved. A lot of the chat on here has been involved about the wingers' form or lack of it. And so Craig asked about their form and contributions, to which Eddie said, well, because Craig mentioned 4 wingers, none of whom are particularly pulling up grass, and he said he wasn't going to individualize, but they all need to improve, and also that his focus is twofold: one, on getting the Wolfie combo working with them, and also individual goals, which again lots of people in the chat have remarked upon. So just to finish with, we're going to go through a lot of the chat. There's been plenty of them. So, got an echo here, but never mind. Trolls is saying, I'm a bit tired of us not getting going till November. Howe needs to get the lads going from day one. Not game, well, I think I mean from game 1, not game 10, in my opinion. Well, yeah, but as we've already, found out, the window and the Rats' particular involvement in that somewhat hampered being able to sign players at the start of the window. Now, there's we've done that to death on who was to blame for that. As far as I was concerned, if he wants to go, good riddance. Get the money and thank you very much for what you've done for us. But PIF, as I mentioned before, had this Billy Big Bollocks attitude. No, we are a big club now. We ain't going to sell to another big club. But eventually, they were forced to. Claire G said, this is about Chow, I assume. He's been coming on as a sub in a few. But every game he's been involved with, we've lost. The ones he hasn't been involved in, we don't lose. So it's Foxy is quickly saying that's obviously not his fault, but it ain't a good stat. RF saying, what are your thoughts on this game? Confident in winning it all? I am confident in winning, yeah. I think we will win. If we can't beat USG, who are the weakest team on paper in the group, then, we've got serious problems progressing any further. The problem is we have Champions League this season, so we're going to have 2 games a week. We need points early on. Yeah, true enough. And here we go. When I suggest you pack this in, because the fact that you say we will finish 5th, yet make us sound like this club ain't big enough to compete, you should stand down, because I've watched you slag fans for wanting better, presumably. But I tell you what to do, NUFC Truth. Get in touch with us, and we'll put you in my seat. And I'll step down and watch you perform. How about that? Don't have a problem with it. Get in touch. You've got email Chris at NUFC Talk TV, and you can find yourself in this chair next week. How about that? Oh, you're telling Chris now. Chris, this is a man who said we got top 5, then we are overheating the squad, and we don't expect to get Champions League. He's a waffler. So get on to Chris, and my job is available. It's available. Come and get it. Predator Windmate, we've got 2 younger, quicker, and better ball-playing centre-backs in Chow and Botman. They should be ahead of Byrne, and he can't play Byrne left back. He doesn't have the pace and gets caught out or needs help. Well, as I say, he's never played badly at centre-back. When isn't Botman entitled to earn his spot for the net? Yeah, well, of course he is, but he has to earn it. Predator, he won't listen. He's a Dan Byrne fan, not a Newcastle fan. Oh, I'm not a Newcastle fan. I've forgotten more about Newcastle than you've ever learned, than you've ever known. If we have a fully fit backline of Tino, Chow, Botman and Hall, Byrne is now back up. Eddie needs to stop trying to fit in his favourites. Meat Beast, we've got 2 games a week. Chow and Botman will get plenty of time to play. Byrne has the goal threat. Trolls, if Byrne was from Coventry, Wynne wouldn't care if he was benched. It's because he's a Newcastle man. Nonsense, Trolls. It's because of what he's done and how he's played for the club since he come. The fact that he's a Geordie is, a benefit because it gives him that extra commitment and drive. But I'd be saying exactly the same if he was from Timbuktu. Hello, Rolly, son. Hi, matey Wynne. The same people who were mourning this time last season are at it again. It's a long season. We're 6 games in now, Rolly, but I hear what you're saying. Thank you. Niall, he won't ever turn on Eddie. It's the owners who have saved this club, pumped in over £700 million. Right, well, the owners have pumped in over £7 million, and in return for that, they've now got an investment that's worth twice that. Graham TC Travel, let's all calm down and see where this team are come Christmas. And let's see how Wissa, etc. have gelled together. Just need to get the top end of the pitch working. Yep, agree with that. This is Joelinton. Jojo was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it couldn't last. Meat Beast, you guys are crazy. If Walter Morta isn't ready to play, you don't trust the coaches to know how risky that could be. Could jeopardise the whole season. Well, that's a fact. If Walter was to play today not fully fit, I still don't see any reason why he shouldn't be fully fit, by the way. But, if he were to get injured today, through overcommitment, shall we say. You know, we're back in the position we were in. Dirty, toxic comments with fans like you. We don't need teams to play against. Or we either get on board or leave and find another club to rip apart. Asula is better than Gordon in the 9. If Gordon starts there again, I'll begin to think Howe wants to get the sack. And finally, Mealsby's could just be a bad patch. Every team has them. Look at the last few seasons when we've started poorly, which we have indeed. So let's now get back up to date. And what is Claire is saying? Oh, James, the problem is that Howe thinks Burn can play left back, and in the light of Tino now being out and Hall being managed, it will not just be the one time. Well, I hope it is. NUFC Truth, give it a rest. It's not Jeremy Kyle in here for football, not your monthly cycle. Mighty Magpie. Go win. Fight them off like Thor. The Geordie Reg Holdsworth. Thank you very much. And UFC Truth back again. When the whole point of host is you're supposed to see both sides and be objective. All you do is happy clappers and rate front man and rate Dan Burn. Well, I rate Dan Burn because I think he's playing well and has been playing well. And the point of a host is to engage the audience, and I think I've pretty much engaged you because you've been absolutely non-stop in the comments. So there you go. As I say, the chair is open. Get in touch with Chris and instead of being the keyboard warrior, come on and face the music. Dead easy done. Dead easy done. We're always looking for new talent. And you obviously think you've got this special talent. Get yourself on board and let's see what the people think. Trolls. So if we don't agree with Win, we are toxic. That's just rude to say we have different opinions. We don't call you toxic, so stop this. You are toxic, or stop this. You are toxic, or be quiet. No. As Chris is always at points to point out, this is a channel of opinions, and always will be. Every opinion is valued. Some not so much as others by me, some not as much as others by you. So there you go. J7, come on, keyboard warrior, come on. I'm calling out your crap. I'll come on the show. I have no issue calling you out. Get on the show, son. Get your details in, and we will have you on with pleasure. TMW or Chris at NUFCtalk.tv. There you go. So here we go. That's it. I think that's the lot now. Thanks everybody for watching. Smash the likes. We've got past the 100, but we're not at 150 yet. Smash the likes, boys and girls. We will see you today. Borky celebrates 6 months membership. Well done on the solo show. You're wrong though. Well, me and Borky never agreed, but that's by the by. Congratulations on your membership anyway for 6 months, Borky. Well done, son. And we'll see you on the next time you're on. I don't know when that is. Maybe it's Thursday. Well, after a year of watching this, it's what you don't like, then you throw your toys out of the pram, blame fans, then leave when you get called out. Yeah, that's what I do. Absolutely. I'm washing my hair tomorrow night. Geo 284, he's not going to watch the thing. Geordie Dan, we love Mighty Win. It's like the uncle at the party. You might not agree, but always entertaining. Thank you for that, Geordie Dan. Okay, folks, that's it. We have flown solo for long enough. The plane has run out of fuel and we're about to land. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it safely. So until tonight for the Champions League hit along, and until tomorrow night when the main event begins, Howe the lads.